Okay, Monday morning in the kingdom, and it is chilly Willy. Yes, that wind has been howling all night. I felt like those pigs with the big bad wolf huffing and puffing. Oh, it sounds echoey right here. I'll back up a bit. Maybe we'll get out in the wind. I don't know. It's gonna suck today. My head hurts. I don't know why. All right, but look at this. It is July 10th. I mean, September 10th. And look at that. Full winter gear. Yes, on frickin' real. The heat is on in the house. The staff's gonna have to cook a turkey or a ham today to warm up the house. On frickin' real. So we use the air conditioner, twice this summer already? And I wore my muscle shirt twice. I only have two muscle shirts. I wore one each day, and then I washed it in the bathtub, and then it's been cold ever since. Okay, this morning it was +8 Celsius, but feels like +5. But it's a chilly 5. Like, this freaking wind is unreal. Like in Wyoming or Saskatchewan if you're in Canada. But on the yo-yo scale, +46 Fahrenheit, but feels like +41. Unfrickin' real. Oh, unreal. Johnny made it to Kennesail yesterday over the Rally Road and that kilometer 97 hill. It's just a small little hill with a big rock sticking out. He had to take a run at it 3 tries to get up and over. Yes. So that's why we tell people don't come up here fishing. What for? Why would you bounce over this so-called road and then travel up there to wreck your RV and your boat trailer and everything? Go to Ontario. It's over there. Yeah. Or better yet, go to Wilderness, Alaska, where the fishing is good. Everything is good up there. They even know how to market themselves on YouTube. Yes. They can put on a video and it goes to like 1 million hits just because the guy said it. Alaska 20 times. Yeah. I'm trying that. It's not working very well because I also do a disclaimer. Wilderness, Alaska, but in northern Manitoba. Unfrickin' real. So we don't know what we're going to do today. Yeah, we want to have a parade. We got everything lined up. We got to get the yard organized, but it keeps raining. Yes, you wait 20 minutes and it'll start raining again for 20 minutes. This is September's weather in July. And where's that little Swedish kid? Last night, I have to download the iPod or Miss iPod and stuff to switch everything over to external hard drives to save the pictures in case they're needed later for when I write my books or in court. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, so I went on Flight Tracker and followed a plane that I could hear over the kingdom. Yeah, it went zoom, like just zoom. You could hear it. I couldn't see it because it was frickin' raining. So I checked on Flight Tracker and this little plane was going fast. So I figured, okay, it's from the north, right? Iqaluit or Reykjavik or whatever up in the Northwest Territories on Hudson Bay. So I clicked on the flight path. It came from Ireland. So they gassed the thing up in Ireland. So I followed it for 4 hours. It landed in San Francisco. Yeah. So every planes are landing in San Francisco. They have to get all bumper to land. So this guy flies through the mountains and I'm watching this. It's just unreal. And then I could follow it landing at the airport on Flight Tracker, and then he turned right instead of going to the terminal. He went to the small hangars and places for small planes, right? So then they parked the plane. It never moved in 5 minutes on Flight Tracker. So I went to Google Earth and zoomed in to see the terminal for the people that can afford to fly in a private jet from Ireland to San Francisco. So then I got thinking maybe it's the Swedish kid coming for a conference or something. They would stop in Ireland to gas up, right? You know, not like Charles Lindbergh, gassed right up with fuel tanks, everything, eh? Plus, when they gas up, they have their last pee before they get airborne, right? So then they just boot along. So the flight is actually quite boring. You can sit and have a nap and let the autopilot fly it till you get down into the mountains there, and then it got to zigzag through the mountains. So then you got to stay on top of things, right? But you look at all those yellow dots. Okay, I'm colorblind. They could have been green or something last night. But you look at all those yellow little planes on the screen. You look at that. That's a lot of fuel in the air. Yeah. Aviation, gas, jet fuel, whatever it is, putt oils or whatever. You think of that. Holy crap, man. You look at the fuel that's up there, flying around. Unfreaking real. I didn't have enough vodka to sit down and do the math and figure out how much fuel would be up there. You know, you got to remember the planes won't be right full of people. Like that Swedish kid probably flew with her mom or dad, right? So you look at that, but you look at the fuel. That's a lot of fuel up in the air. And they're worried about some little Exxon tanker floating around or whatever, you know, the captain there. He kind of made a oopsie, eh? But that's oh well. All right. So we don't know what we're going to do today. This is freaking unreal. This is ruining our plans. We want to do stuff. Yes, we should be going to Kenaseo doing pictures, documenting kilometer 97 hill, looking at my boats, you know. They've been out of the water since 2015. I got to get working on those big 40-foot boats. So my retirement, I can cruise around on the lake like them rich people, right? Oh, yes. All right. Oh, I got the burps. Oh, opening a fresh jar of peanut butter. It's so fresh and smelly or whatever. It's got flavor. Just like when you open a bar of Irish Spring soap. Oh, these burps are unreal. And then you put it in the bathtub there. Every time you go in the bathroom for the first week, all you smell is Irish Spring. Yes. So that's what my peanut butter is. Now I take the top off. Whoa, is it good? I also only eat the Kraft peanut butter because it's got to be the smoothest because I have no teeth. So I got some crunchy peanut butter one time and it got stuck in my teeth. It was unreal. I can eat peanuts okay. All right, that's no problem, but not into peanut butter. That just screws me up. All right, so the staff is coming over at 1 today. We're not sure what we're going to do. Probably drink beer and watch it rain every 20 minutes. All right, I better go. Here comes the boss.
Okay, we're doing a retake from this morning's video, seeing how it turned out crappy with the Lily Tomlin mic and the frickin' wind. So instead of the sun being to the west over here and heading to the north, okay, because the sun will set over here tonight, okay? So let's just pretend the sun is behind me. Okay, so that's the east. All right, this fellow on YouTube, or my Facebook friend as they say, his name is Casey Ladali. Dadal? Okay. I might be pronouncing his name wrong because I speak English or I am English and I brutalize everything. But seeing how we're Canadian, we say Casey because we grew up with Casey and Finnegan on Mr. Dress Up. So his name being in the United States, it might be Cassie, okay, or something like that. And I know I screwed up Ladali big time, but he'll have to forgive me. Okay, he did a video on the body shop, okay? They took a charger to a body shop and he had some really good points in the video and stuff like that. Everybody thinks the Dodge Charger is a fast car because of Daytona. Yes, it is. That is correct. Also, too, a lot of people don't know that this 37 Dodge from my wasted youth was getting me speeding tickets of 145 miles an hour. And we could outdrive just about everything. And I credit my dad being an automotive mechanic instructor at the college. Plus, he spent about 20 years in the high-performance industry, racing stock cars, building high-performance motors. Okay, so let's turn back the time to 1984, and there is no money tree. Okay, so everybody building hot rods, you went to the junkyard, you got your parts for your hot rod. That's how you build a car. Nowadays, you order online, and everything comes. So back in the day, we were putting disc brakes on to the original front axle. Okay. So nowadays, you just order the Mustang 2 front suspension. That's the way you do it. But my dad also, too, incorporated front suspension, the independent front suspension. It's out of a Camaro. So this frame here is basically a 68 Camaro because the rear end and everything is of the Camaro. And it was smashed up. The kid wrapped it around a tree. My dad was there and bought it because he had no money and there was performance motor parts and everything. Dad knew the car very well. So what they were doing back in the 80s was grafting the Camaro subframe onto the original frame, okay? So you graft it in. But my dad couldn't weld worth a crap, so I'm the guy that did all the weldings, and I passed the safety inspection because back then when you started modifying, you had to have an inspection done on it. So that's how they did it. So they put the Camaro subframes onto the original frame to get a smooth ride. But the 37 Dodge Hot Rod over here, we wanted a firm ride, okay? All right, so I'll explain that. Okay, now to explain the firm ride, okay? We ran the front springs on this 37 Dodge. We had them fixed up a little bit at the local spring shop when I was growing up. My dad was good friends with him. And we ran very stiff shocks on the front end. But you got to remember, this is like 38 years ago, so things have been changed because this truck went from being a speed truck going fast and outrunning cops and everything like that to being a welding work truck after I got a divorce. So it got changed drastically, and I mean drastically. Okay, so you wanted a stiff front suspension and quick turning, all right? So that's the joys of the disc brakes. Okay, back in the 80s, having disc brakes means you had a good friend in the machine shop that could machine things to make it fit, because this is the original 37 Dodge front axle. All right, over here, back then, the welding rods weren't that good, so you over-engineered everything, okay? So it has quick steering, all right? So this is what I mean by quick steering. The drag link and everything here, all right? And then this is your typical sagging on steering box, which was on every Chevy car back in the 60s, early 70s. So there were a dime a dozen, that's what you incorporate, okay? So also too, if you notice that the motor is low in the truck, okay? We got it sitting up on the wooden blocks here because these brand new tires being the aluminum rims, okay? Or the mag wheels, I call them, the slots. Okay, you can see that this thing still has the brand new sticker on it. These tires go flat because of the aluminum rims, especially in the cold weather. All right, so the whole idea to go fast was to get the motor down low, and Dad wanted it low. The first guy who built the truck, okay, we improved a lot of his designs and stuff like that. He had the motor mounts at the front because back in the days when he ran the 327 or whatever, they didn't have the side motor mount, so everything was off the front of the motor. Okay, that's just like the 55, 56, 57 Chevys. So everything was done down low, and Dad wanted that motor low, and he wanted it low for the center of gravity because we're pulling some corners and stuff like that, and you got to be able to have a steering and ability to control it. So if you watch the movie with Steve McQueen, I think it's called Bullet, where he's got the green Mustang and he's out running in the high-speed chase in the streets of San Francisco, and he's always passing that little colored Volkswagen Beetle. The Dodge Charger in there, that shows you the driving ability of the Dodge Charger. It was all over the place. It was like a waterbed going around the corners. Okay, the wind's getting up, but also note there's nothing on the firewall for master cylinders, brake boosters, or clutch or anything like that. That's because everything is down low. Yes, look at that. That's the problem we had with the truck. But also too, Dad was an automotive instructor at the college. We could borrow the power booster, vacuum booster, whatever it is, the power bleeder, because the bleeders for the front calipers are actually higher than the master cylinder down there. So you got an air problem. Took us a while to figure it out because it was too low. But once we did any work on the front end, we borrowed the power bleeder from the college. So that was one of the joys of Dad having access. Also too, we made our own headers in shop glass, and the flange and everything kind of fell apart 20 years ago, so we just put that on. But these are the 3-inch hooker side pipes that got us into a lot of trouble, but we always carried documentation that they were bought and paid for. And the thing is we want the weight down low. All right, let's go inside the cab here. All right. In Casey's video, or Cassie's, he's showing the Charger speedometer peaking out at 145 miles an hour, okay? This speedometer here is out of a Camaro, and it goes up to 120. We can put the needle way over here. They can bury it. And that's when you're getting speeding tickets of 145 is when it's down up here. That's when this truck was running good. Okay, we're also running the 3-speed transmission because after my great divorce where I died, I blew up to 4-speed. So then we put a 3-speed in because it's now a work truck. When the 4-speed was in, 4th gear, just like 3rd gear, was up against the seat here. Oh, where's my hand? And that was always when you put a smile on your lady's face, you know, because this cab is small, and I mean small. But you look at everything here. Dad made sure everything was down low, all right? Back then, we had to use a Ford power booster and master cylinder because they didn't make anything in Chevy that small. So it was what we could get from the junkyards to make it fit. Everything, including the pedals, everything is down low for speed and gravity, okay? And we had great fun with the speedometer and stuff like that. We had lots of problems and had to get the speedometer, how would you say, accurately checked in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So we had to travel the 200 kilometers to Winnipeg, pay the outrageous amount, I think $300 to prove the speedometer was correct when we were getting speeding tickets like that. Okay, another thing we did with Dad is we put 2 fuel tanks in here, okay? So there's 2 fuel tanks, nice and low. And we always kept the fuel tanks full because money was tight when we were growing up and hot rodding and having fun in our wasted youth, all right? So we always made sure the fuel tanks were full because we had money, we put it in the gas tank, and plus we bought some beer. And also too, if you got into trouble with the cops or whatever like that, you didn't have to worry about running out of gas, but you wanted the weight. Yes, the weight of these fuel tanks to hold the truck on the road. Okay? So then everybody says, oh, look at your drive shaft right here. Okay? But the thing is, my dad made a note that there was 283 gears or something in the rear end here. It was a 2-something number. This truck was a dog, okay? It was a dog till 30 miles an hour. You could not lay rubber with this thing. We were running the Goodyear Eagles at the time. Those were the best tires you could get, and they were pricey back in the day. Like I remember we bought the back ones on one payday, and we bought the front tires on the next payday. And then we found out how good those Goodyear Eagles were back in 1985, because you could hold the road in the S-curves and stuff like that and outrun anybody. Okay? So everybody says, whoa, that drive shaft could come off. Okay, we're not doing burnouts. This truck was a dog at 30 miles an hour. This thing with the 4-speed transmission had trouble at the speed bumps at McDonald's. Okay, you almost smoked the clutch out of it trying to get over the speed bumps. This truck's power range was from 70 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour. Oh, I got the burps again. I shouldn't have ate those peanuts. Okay, so I try to explain to everybody. Okay, of course we got shadows. All right, 60 miles an hour is cruising speed on the highway. You're traveling at 70 miles an hour. You're in 4th gear. You drop it to 3rd gear and kick down the gas pedal, which opens up the 4 barrels, all right? And then you run it up as high as you can go. She's screaming major RPMs, and the power range was at between 70 to 100 miles an hour. That's when you started racing, or you were gone, bye-bye. That was our thing. Also, too, under the dash on this side, there was, how do you say, dimmer switches for the brake lights and the tail lights, and we could shut the brake lights off. So we could do brake applications and slow down and drive out, how would you say, outdrive the competition back in the day. But if you read my Naughty Natalie book series, Love is Trust, okay? I trusted her with my life, and she trusted me with her life, and we had fun. And we also I write in there how we kind of smashed up 3 cop cars, but in actuality it was 5 that summer. But they just couldn't drive those cops. All right, so this gives you an idea of the truck. Okay, I can't figure out these guys that build a vehicle to do smoke shows or burnouts or anything like that. This truck was built to run, okay? And we'd leave Brandon, Manitoba, run to Edmonton, and pick up parts for the combiners, you know, guys that are farming, combining and stuff like that, because the part was in Edmonton, no way to get it, so you just hop in a vehicle and start driving. This truck could run us to Edmonton, and we'd come back. This thing was made to run. So there's a lot of 2-lane highways back in the day, so you come up behind a car doing 55 miles an hour, you drop it into 3rd gear, kick in the 4 barrels, and you're gone. That was long before the days of that NOS and Rice rockets and all that stuff. But hopefully this explains the truck, and I thank Casey for sharing his video on the Dodge Charger and explaining what power is. But to us, this was power. We could outdrive them. In the 4th book of the Naughty Natalie series, I write how she outdrove a Corvette Stingray. Okay, that's wrap your ass in fiberglass, but they couldn't handle worth crap. Okay, most of the vehicles we, how would you say, had fun around Brandon back in the day, we'd take them out on the straight stretch, long runs, or on the S-curves, okay? There were several S-curves on the highways around Brandon, and we could outdrive them, because this truck would just hug the S-curve and pull through, no problem. So you coming out of the S-curves, going faster than what you went in, as long as you were powering into it, it was getting traction and holding the road. But you always kept your fuel tanks full, and how would you say, center of gravity low.
After lunch here in WHO-ville, getting ready to head to the kingdom to start organizing and sorting through our recyclables. And then I'm going to take the trailer and go down the trails and pick up all the bottles and the 5-gallon pails he left out for me. So let's head to the kingdom now. After lunch here in the kingdom, out picking up the pails my dad left for me out on the trails. Right now I'm down by Mattress Corner, which is just right over to the right of me here. This is what I got so far, so it's been a slow day, but I gotta go find where all these other pails are, which I was told they're down there somewhere, so let's go check. Alrighty, there we go. He even got the pails moved to the next location so he can go and clean up in here, but I'm gonna go dump all this and head back and see what he's up to now. Washing our recyclables before they head south so they're nice and clean, because that's a little dirty compared to that one over there. While I'm doing that, my dad's in the trailer getting other stuff ready. Once those bins are empty, we can use them to garden some more, because my potatoes are doing great, so let's see what else I can grow. Second load of recyclables here. Got a bunch of old tire rims and some pots and pans in the trailer here. Time to get them nice and cleaned up and go see if he has another load for me. While I'm cleaning the recyclables and getting everything ready to go south, I found 2 kettles. These are the exact same kettles. One's just a little more abused than the other one, but back in the day you would just set these on the fire and they would heat up your water or whatever liquid you have in there at the time. But I think they're pretty cool that we have 2 of them, not just one, but that's cool. There's 2. Alright, we got the trailer sorted out, and now these 2 totes are going to be used for planting. Not sure what we'll plant in them yet, but we'll clean them out and we'll put some stuff in the bottom and use them for my plants. Now it's time to sort this bin that's up by the house for all of our squished cans. Going to empty this out so we can use it for planting as well. Got 3 bags in total. That's probably over 1,000 cans. I gave up counting after 900. But now we'll go haul them into the trailer so they are ready to go south to be recycled. Made it back to WHO-ville from the kingdom, no problem at all. Now it's time to put this stuff away, let the dogs out, and get ready to go fishing. As long as it doesn't rain here, I'll be out fishing for a couple hours and hopefully catch some supper. I'm going to try some things too, because I found some worms in my garden today, so I'm going to try and use them as some live bait. We'll see if we catch anything.
Okay, 5 o'clock in the kingdom, and I helped the staff today get these totes here. Okay, I'll try some talent here. I don't have much of that today. The staff needs more totes for gardening. Okay, so we emptied out the recyclables. I think she has film on that. Okay, if you're watching the video, you've probably seen the film already. I haven't, because I haven't made the film yet, or the video. Okay, so to hide out of the rain or the snow or whatever it's doing today and the wind, I spent an hour in here stripping the V12. Yes, the V12. I have no use for it. I'm getting up in age. We have other projects, as you can see back there. That's the Muskeg buggy with the 46 Chevy cab on it. Yes, from the welding truck. And over here we have all the new parts and everything, plus the manual. So whoever buys the V12 gets the manual. I bought it on eBay. All right. The reason we strip it is because the way we do things up here in the north is totally different than people in the south. So we can repurpose all this stuff. Everything from the big bolts to the elbows to the motor mounts to the exhaust flanges. Yes. And the alternator is the spare alternator for the Screaming Ford. We got motor mounts. We got the coils that can go onto the IH cats. Yes, the IH cats. Start on gas, switch to diesel. And we got all the filters and the heater hoses that we were short the other day on the 46 Chevy 2-ton. Yes, the 2-ton. I keep wanting to call it a 3-ton, but it's actually a 2-ton. So I could have used those the other days. But we've made the decision. We'll never have this V12 up and running. We have too many other projects. Like we just did a truck show yesterday with 14 trucks, and 2 aren't running. So let's focus on getting those running, and plus the ones at the front here. Because there's another one in front of the Muskeg buggy we won't talk about, because we'll leave that as suspense, like a Stephen King thriller book. Okay. Oh, I got the shakes here. I better grab some more beers. Okay, Miss iPod's charged up enough. I can do the end of the day video at 8 o'clock at night. And then I'll just slip this little video into the end of our video. Okay, the staff did good today. We had to delete some of her bush videos because the sun and the Me phone didn't get along. It was blurry. I couldn't even watch it on the video editor. Ooh, big words. All right, just look at everything lined up, looking shiny and good. Wait 10 minutes and it'll probably start raining. All right, let's go. I've already walked the dogs. Let's go drink some beer. Oh, I already did that. Well, let's go finish the video. Okay, talk to you guys later.